Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We live in an interesting generation where there's a great amount of consciousness about purity, environmental friendly. We only want to buy things that are organic, things that everyone's into, vegan, healthy, pollution. There's a lot of talk about not polluting the environment, not using oil and all these things. We're very aware of our environment more than any other generation, but less so when it comes to spiritual pollution. Just like there are toxins and chemicals that contaminate the air that everyone breathes, there are words that when you speak them, you contaminate the environment. And the environment, the air that everyone's breathing spiritually is not as pure, because it's called Lashon Hara. It's all about this week's Parsha. And if Lashon Hara is a bad thing, Lashon Tov is good words that make the environment healthier and easier to breathe spiritually for everyone around. So if we're so aware about the environment in a physical sense, surely we should be aware about the spoken and the written and the printed word and how it affects the environment of our society at large. It's interesting that the Parsha is 90% about the sin of Lashon Hara, speaking gossip and slander. But the opening, the first 5 or 10% of the Parsha is the commandment and the laws regarding childbirth. Why not just have the whole Torah portion about Lashon Hara? Why childbirth? And perhaps I was thinking to myself that there's a message here. And the message is, when it comes to your children, you're very happy to talk about them, the most wonderful things. Sometimes when it comes to words, people have verbal constipation. They just can't get the words out, And they're not free with their words. They're not generous with their words. When it comes to your children, you can talk all day. Ask someone about their kids. They're ready to talk all the wonderful things about their kids. But you ask them about someone else, they're very miserly with their words, very stingy. They'll give a compliment, sometimes a backhanded compliment, but they won't gush. They won't talk freely. They won't sing that person's praises. And maybe the opening about childbirth is saying, think of every person and the love you have for your child. So what is it about love for children? So, when a baby or a kid comes home from school, or when a kid hurts himself, either he fell and hurt himself on his bicycle, or somebody insulted him, he comes home, what does he want from his mommy? When you were a kid, what did you want from your mommy? You wanted a big hug. And you would hug your mother, and that is the greatest sign of love. What is so great about a hug? So, the 3 things about a hug. The first thing is that when you hug somebody, they are the center of your universe. There's a term, self-centered. When you hug someone, you're saying, I'm stepping out of the center, you're the center of my life. So that's the first idea. You can't be self-centered. You have to love someone else and make them the center. The second thing is that when you love someone, it's unconditional. When you hug someone, you don't look at their face, you look at their back. What you're saying is, I'm not looking at your virtues, I'm not looking at your qualities, I'm looking at your back. I love you independent of your qualities and your virtues. And the third thing, what's so beautiful about a hug, is that when the mother or the father is hugging the child's also hugging the adult, which means it's reciprocal. Sometimes in love, you have to not only know how to give, but know how to receive. Let the other person be a giver as well. And when it comes to words, someone once said that, imagine I gave you a credit card that had unlimited line of credit, and you're never going to get a bill in your life. What would you do? So you would swipe the card anytime you needed anything, but you'd also be generous. If somebody needed something in the store, you say, hey, let me get that for you. I'll pay for it, because you have unlimited line of credit and you're never going to get a bill. Well, your words is like an unlimited credit card. God gave you infinite words. You could spend it as freely as you want, and there's no charge. You could speak as many words as you want. So if someone needs an encouraging word, someone needs a compliment, somebody needs guidance, somebody needs inspiration, why not give of those words? It doesn't cost you anything. You have unlimited. So why hold back? Speak freely, speak openly, and allow yourself to express your feelings. How often do people look back and say, I should have told them how much I loved them. I should have told them how much I appreciate them. God gave you words. Use them positively and not negatively. There's a rabbi who's retired now. He was a famous rabbi in Atlanta. His name is Rabbi Emanuel Feldman. And he wrote a book about his rabbinate. He was in the rabbinate maybe 50 years. He built a big congregation, Beth Jacob in Atlanta. And in one of the stories he said the most emotional or the most difficult question he got in his rabbinate was a woman who once came to him and set an appointment to come see him and said, Rabbi, She had something with her throat, her lungs, I'm not sure what it was, but she had to undergo an operation, and the doctors told her, when you wake up from this operation, you will no longer be able to speak. In order to save your life, we have to cut out something, and your vocal cords will be gone. You will not be able to speak again. You'll have to communicate through writing, through computers. No longer will you be able to utter another word. And the woman came to the rabbi, and the woman said to Rabbi Feldman, Rabbi, I'm trying to decide. She was a middle-aged woman. She said, what should be the last words I speak in my life? Should I say a special prayer? Which words should I choose to say? Should I call someone, say certain words? What's the last words I should say in my lifetime? And the rabbi said it was such a difficult question, but it made him realize something. Here this woman was choosing her words so carefully because she knows these are the last words I'm going to speak before I go into surgery. Never again will I utter a word in my life. He said, if we only lived that way every day and said to ourselves, if these were the last words I can say, what would I want those words to be? Would I want it to be mean, angry, demeaning words? Or would I want them to be beautiful, kind words? Would I want it to be words of prayer, of thanks to Hashem, of praise? What would you want those words? You don't have to wait, God forbid, till someone's in the predicament of that woman. Every day we could think about that and use our words, not for Lashon Hara, for bad speech, but for Lashon Tov, for good words.